All right, for more on this and on President Biden's new challenger, let's bring in our political panel, Democratic strategist Kevin Walling and Republican strategist Matt Keelen. Thank you both for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Good to see you, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi. So let's start with you, Matt, because I want to bounce off of what Mark Meredith is reporting on. You know, the Republican Jewish Coalition's annual conference. You've got everyone in the Republican field there. Is there an opening, enough of an opening, for a challenger to win over more support? Because conservative Jews are broadly supportive of former President Trump, but his comments immediately after October 7th upset a lot of people. His relationship with Netanyahu seeming to sort of hold a cloud over that. Are there any large enough differences between the candidates we're seeing here and Trump to provide an opening for them, you think?
I think actually Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis have really taken the former president to task on this. His comments were, I think, off. Based on his presidency, he was one of the most popular presidents ever inside the Jewish community, and most people would say he was probably the most pro-Jewish president. But right now, he seems to be adrift on a lot of different issues, and I think Haley and DeSantis have taken advantage of it. And I think you're going to see a lot of that in the RJC this week.
Okay. Well, let's want to move on to Dean Phillips and what the heck is going on with Dean Phillips. In fact, let's play a soundbite of Dean Phillips talking about why he's challenging President Biden for the Democratic nomination. Let's listen to that.
Over 50% of Democratic voters simply want an alternative. I'm raising my hand. I'm entering this ring because I think Americans deserve that very alternative. I'm going to run a spirited, joyful, optimistic campaign based on strength and fortitude and give people a choice.
How is he a choice? I mean, look at his voting record. It is completely in line with President Biden. So,
Jackie, you're 100%. He's 100% in line with the president, and you just see his track record. He has praised the president left down, up, and center in terms of the president's policies, what he's been able to accomplish. So I think this is a fool's errand. You know, this is a three-term congressman. I had to look up actually more information about him in advance of this conversation. He's already missed the filing deadline in a number of key states. He just made the deadline in New Hampshire, but he has been for a long time saying, someone should take on President Biden, and no one has stepped up because they realize how popular the president is within the Democratic Party, that no serious challenger has stepped forward, whether it be governors or senators, and he's taking this on. Now, I think he'll get 2-3 months of time on Meet the Press and things like that to raise his name ID, but at the end of the day, I said, this is a fool's errand.
Well, Matt, Dean Phillips is launching his campaign from New Hampshire, where Biden is not even on the primary ballot there after the DNC rearranged their nominating schedule, put South Carolina first. Is that at all a risk for Biden, New Hampshire? I mean, there's never been, I think, an election where the incumbent didn't get the nomination, but Dean Phillips is there. Biden's
Absolutely.
not.
I think in 1968, Lyndon Johnson's advisors were probably saying the same thing about Gene McCarthy, that nobody had ever heard of him. But Gene McCarthy shocked the world in New Hampshire in 1968, and not that long after, Lyndon Johnson surprised a lot of people and stepped out of the race. Joe Biden has a lot of vulnerabilities. It's one thing for Republicans to point them out. It's another thing for a dynamic young congressman from Minnesota to be taking our talking points and bringing them up in the primary. And right now, 77% of the American people think Joe Biden is too old to be president, and 69% of Democrats agree with that. So Joe Biden has some vulnerability on the age issue, and just if he ever gets on stage with Joe Biden, there is going to be a tremendous contrast.
Well, and Kevin, the president's numbers seem to have slipped between September and October. He went from 41% overall approval rating to 37% among Democrats, 86% to 75%. What is motivating that slide? And also, as you're seeing resistance within the Democratic Party over his support for Israel, a lot of folks, sharing concern about Palestine and saying that Biden's on the wrong side of this. Is he in jeopardy with a part of his base that could end up costing him more than Democrats expect at this point?
Ultimately, I don't believe so, Jackie. And you hit the nail on the head in the earlier conversation with Ambassador Sales, drawing into that conversation, the president's drop, especially among younger voters, where this is a key issue in terms of the rights of Palestinians in this fight. But listen, doing what's right and what the president is doing and standing with Israel is what's right. And it might not be, to your point, as popular as it could be among younger Democrats, among Arab American Democrats, Muslim American Democrats, and we'll let this process play out. But in the end, I think you're seeing the president's character, and people will come home to that character because of his support, steadfast for the state of Israel.
10-second response before we wrap.
I think the president needs to have his sister soldier moment and take on the squad over Palestine and support Israel stronger than he has to date. He has an opportunity to show those voters who helped elect him that he is a moderate, that he is going to do things differently, and his party's wrong on this.
All right. Thank you both for being with us. Really appreciate your time. Matt Keelen, Kevin Wallen, appreciate it. Thanks,
Thanks, Jacqui.